According to a report in the New Jersey Watchdog, Christie was living large on the taxpayer's dime. Now, New Jersey Governor Christie spent about $300,000 of taxpayer money, according to this report, on food and drinks during his 5-year tenure as governor of New Jersey. Well, interesting. Now, this report from the New Jersey Watchdog found that Christie spent more than $82,000 alone at MetLife Stadium, home of the New York Giants and New York Jets. So, he's sitting there spending $82,000 on hot dogs and beer and peanuts. Now, understandably, if anybody is, in the audience has been to a baseball game or whatever, I find baseball incredibly boring, but that's a screed for another time. You know that concessions are expensive. Now, this is taxpayer money. You have to remember. Now, Christie actually gets a lot of taxpayer money that's afforded to him that he can spend on things like this, which sucks, but that's what it is. Now, he tends to argue that this is because that he can spend this money because, well, yeah, it's related to the business of New Jersey. Now, I don't know how stuffing your face with hot dogs from the stadium is New Jersey business. Then again, I'm not a politician, so I don't know. Now, this report continues. Now, during the 2010 and 2011 football stadiums, he had spent $82,000. So just in those 2 years, he spent $82,000. Now, the Republican State Committee noticed that and was like, "Ooh, that looks bad. That looks really, really bad. We better give that money back to the state." So good. Oh, fair enough. They reimburse the state the full amount. And as since, Christie has stopped using that expense account at sporting venues. Oh, that's great. Now, they also reimburse their treasury for additional $3,367.22 to deal with, quote, an accounting anomaly. I'm not sure what that's all about, but that's what the report says. Now, the Watchdog also found Christie spent more than $100,000 on groceries and alcoholic beverages. Now, that's once again part of his expense account. This includes $76,000 in 53 trips to Wegmans supermarket, $12,000 in 51 trips to ShopRite, and about $6,500 in 7 visits to ShopRite's major liquor counter. Major? I don't know. To ShopRite's liquor counter. Okay, so this is a major issue as far as, it's not really a scandal, but I find it kind of egregious when, I know New Jersey isn't a place that does this, but a lot of Republicans, I have to point out that a lot of different Republican governors want to actually watch what people using taxpayer money buy with that money. Now here's Christie going and buying $6,500 in 7 visits to the liquor counter alone with public money. Now, I'm sure maybe some of that has to do with throwing these parties and stuff for donors, stuff like that, right? That doesn't mean that I agree with him being able to do that. I think it's sort of ridiculous. I mean, he spent more money on liquor than I made last year. Talk about ridiculous. Okay. Now, the report said that it was unclear whether the goods stocked in pantries and filled the refrigerators at, get this, Drumthwacket. That's the name of the official mansion in Princeton. The governor's mansion is named Drumthwacket. Really, guys? Drumthwacket? Okay. Anyway. Or the Mendham House, where Christie and his family live. Now, Christie's office came out and said, well, hey, this isn't for personal use. No, all of the expenses were related to official events. They didn't go back and mention the $82,000 at the stadium that they ended up having to reimburse because, oh yeah, that was personal use. But no, it wasn't all personal use. And plus we paid back the money. Yeah, because it looked really, really bad. That's amazing. Alright. Christie also spent about $110,000 on other catered events for state receptions and special events. That's actually really close to what it's supposed to be. Catered events for state receptions and special events, we're okay with. That's what it's there for. Okay? Like you have a little party at the governor's mansion, whatever, you're gonna bring in business leaders, etc., to do state business. Okay, I get it. That's fine. Okay. That was more consistent, according to the report, with the stated purpose of this allowance. Exactly. State dinners and stuff. Now, how much do they actually have to spend on this? Well, they have about $95,000 per year expense account for official state events and operations at the governor's mansion and state house. So, I mean, if he spent over $300,000 over 5 years, then he was actually under his budget, which I guess I gotta give him a little bit of credit for. Plus him paying it back. But nonetheless, it seemed like more than one occasion, he probably dipped into that for personal use. And that's what I have a problem with. Once again, it's not exactly illegal, but at the same time, it's not exactly the greatest image, especially for somebody who tries to paint himself as the blue-collar everyman. He is not the everyman, because everyman doesn't spend $6,500 a year in alcohol. So, in 7 visits to ShopRite's liquor counter. So, I'm just saying.